Okay, let's start. Thank you everyone for coming and attending that presentation about different laser systems, different customers. So what I want to tell you today is how we deal with a challenge that we have such a variety of different products and that we want to match them with the customer requirements and the project requirements. Because it's not always straightforward. If you search for a laser system, you find different opportunities. You have options for going very cheap. You have very expensive products. But actually, it's very difficult to determine what product you actually need for a certain application. So let's dive into that and see what we need to consider. First of all, we need to determine what kind of user group do we want to serve with a certain product. That can either be you from your perspective saying, okay, what am I doing with lasers? What do I plan to do with lasers? Or it can also be that you want to sell products to a customer of yours, and this way you can understand what the customer may need. So there is different groups of people that deal with lasers in a way that they either want to use them or buy them, and we need to take into account that they have different requirements for what they want to do. There are many different laser systems available, and there are many different use cases for lasers as well. And also, there are many different users of laser systems. So what we need to do is we need to match these different groups of people to find the best, most suitable laser system for certain applications. First of all, we need to understand the different, let's call them stakeholders in that framework about users and buyers. The person that buys a laser system not necessarily is the person that uses the laser system. For example, there is a big multimedia project, and the person that buys the laser system is the one with the money. It's a manager somewhere that makes a decision which laser system is bought. But the user of the laser system is the lighting designer or the technician that handles the laser on site. We need to take that into account when consulting people, because they have different requirements in what we need to tell them what is relevant about a laser. So buyers usually are project companies, nightclubs, always the owners. We have cruise ships, big project companies, retail stores. And then we have the users, which are the lighting professionals, video professionals, architects, people that deal with the laser themselves. And then there is a mixture group, which is users and buyers at the same time. That is the laser specialists, DJs, entertainers, rental companies. Historically, and this is a funny thing, by the way, because I just did the presentation in the other room about the history of Laserworld, and this is a thing that we actually discovered in the past, that most companies in the industry try to deal with these people, these three target groups. But they forgot about the rest, because those were rather easy to deal with, because they were the ones that had the money and they used the lasers. So they had the technical knowledge and they had the funding. But the other ones are very difficult to deal with because they have a different approach to your product. On this side, people are super techy and they want to really get the product that is super, super techy and all this. But they are not the ones buying it. So if you try to sell this person the best laser that you have, they will actually follow this, but the ones with the money are on this side, and they probably don't follow that route at all. And if you don't give the story correctly to those and those at the same time, there will be a clash. And there will be no decision for buying a certain product, and there will be no decision for buying a certain product on the other hand as well. Because they go for the cheapest stuff, they go for the most expensive stuff, and you need to match that somehow. And how do we do that? By finding out what is most suitable for a certain application. Let's dive into that and see how we can differentiate this. First of all, we need to understand what shall be done with a laser. What kind of application do we come across when it comes to laser? Because what a laser show is, that is completely different perspectives. Some people consider a laser show when there is a laser doing a mapping together with video on a wall, because that's what they know. Other people consider a laser show something in a nightclub. Other people consider a laser show a projection of graphics somewhere at the wall with kind of comic style, whatever things. And then there is other types of laser shows in a corporate way, in an artistic way, that is also laser show. But how can we differentiate laser shows in a way that people understand what they need as a product from this differentiation? Let's have a look at the different types of laser shows. First of all, we have the typical front projection. That means we have a projection towards a surface that can be like a screen like here. We can project with a laser towards the screen. We can also project towards a sculpture, like have a projection onto a sculpture. We can have a projection towards a building, a mapping. All these things require a proper representation of the beam, of the quality of the beam. The scanning must be good. We need to have like a professional system, more professional system, because normally, let's say in 90% of the cases where we have an application with a front projection or a projection in general, we have challenging graphics. So we need to find a system that can handle this. Normally, this is more challenging than other applications. It is similar if we have a rear projection scenario, because we also have that shapes that play a role. And the shapes are usually more difficult to do than if you have lines or circles or whatever nice fancy stuff in a nightclub. With a rear projection with translucent surface, it's a mixture, because you have the beams that you see, but you also see shapes. Depending on the use case, you probably can go for a less expensive system, depending if the graphics are more complex or not. Then there is the type atmospheric. As you saw before, the perspective with the rear projection and the rear projection with the translucent surface, the perspective of the viewer towards the laser. Whereas if we look at the atmospheric projection, the perspective is with the laser. This is a typical use case. We will see that tonight when we walk outside, heading towards dinner. We will see the projection, the atmospheric use outside with the angles, the RTI angles that actually point towards the sky, and we see how that looks like. And it looks really strong in that perspective, but the requirements for the laser system are totally different. I just mentioned it's about the angles, 600 watt laser. And it's just a single beam, so it's just a beam situation, because making shapes and graphics and all that usually doesn't make sense in that kind of application. Because we don't have any surface that we project onto, it's just the beam that we can actually see in the air. The most common use case normally is the beam show then, with or without audience scanning. So either we keep the beams overhead or we also hit the audience with a beam. But this is the most common thing. The requirements for this, in 90% of the cases, is not that high. You don't need to have like sophisticated scanning and all this. So if the customer has this kind of application, you can probably go for less expensive systems to cater for that buyer group. The next question always is, what about control? What control options are required by the customer and by the project? That is a crucial thing. Many people don't think about that when buying a laser. Say, I want to have a laser. But yeah, how do you want to control it? If there is a lighting designer coming in who wants to control the laser, well, they have their control systems. They have their DMX controller, ArtNet. They want to use this for control, and they probably are not too fond of having additional software. If there's a video guy coming in, they say, well, I want to control the laser, but I have this software because this is what I use with video, and I want that laser to play with video. So that needs to be compatible. we can't have an additional thing. I don't want to have additional servers. I don't want to deal with additional software. So they have certain ideas, customers and users have certain ideas of how they want to use the laser. So we need to take into account what kind of control is required. And this is a common misconception in the industry, especially with laser show industry, because people always assume that the customer wants to use their laser software. And that is not the case, because the customer does not have lasers as the primary effect anymore, not always. Sometimes we have the classic laser show, but it's not always the case. They use lasers in addition to other media. They use laser in addition to video, to lighting, to special effects. And they don't want to deal with all these specialties. They want it easy. So we need to find solutions for that customer, specific products that actually match their requirements, that make them easy, usable. And this is the thing, you have different types of controls. You have automatic mode, master slave, demo mode, DMX mode, ArtNet, software control, ILDA streaming. There's different options that are available out there for controlling your laser system, and it depends on what the customer requires. Now, talking about auto mode, automatic standalone operation. That sounds a bit like mobile DJ. Actually, it is. Many mobile DJs want to use a laser system in automatic operation because they don't want to control it. Well, fair enough. Happy days, they can do it. But there is the same type of control for top professional use as well. Advertising, for example. That's an automated playback where people want to store stuff into your laser and then place it somewhere in standalone mode and let it run there by itself. So it's not like you can link each operation mode to a certain user group or use case. It's more difficult. So when dealing with a customer, when dealing with your client, or when also finding lasers for yourself, make sure you understand about the control you want to use. And there is so many possibilities, also on the software side, there's so many possibilities what you can do now. And this is an essential thing that we on the Laserworld Group side try to cater for with bringing out these intelligent laser mainboards in the lasers, because having a multitude of connectivity options provides a lot of compatibility to different trades, to the video guys, to the lighting guys, to the pyro guys, because they can use their software and control the laser. Because we always must understand, we are not the most important trade on a job. Lasers are the least important ones, unfortunately, because they are just the add-on. And we need to make it as easy as possible for our customers to be able to get going. Let's have a look at the different product series. I just want to give you a quick run through so you understand a bit more what the idea behind the product series are. Because I already mentioned before in that presentation that we have specific products specifically tailored to certain customer groups. What you see up here, first of all, is the Ecoline series. And Ecoline means eco, this is budget. This is really budget. And those products are for the mobile DJ that actually just wants to have some flickering lasers. And well, fair enough, why not? This is actually where Laserworld comes from. That's what I just mentioned in the presentation. This is where we're coming from the lower end. Because we made it easy for people to use lasers, easily accessible in a way that they can use it for their purposes. The next level is the Club Series. The Club Series is already computer controllable. So even from the lower end, we can already computer control them, but the really strong ones, the 12 watt and the 24 watt that we have now, CS12000, CS24000, they already have that ShowNET mainboard inside, that intelligent laser mainboard that gives you so many opportunities for control. So that makes this product series much more versatile. You can even use them for festivals because you have that connectivity that you can easily control them. They are waterproof. So that is also a thing that helps the use of these lasers. So CS series, the least expensive option for computer controllable laser systems. And then we go further with the diode series. All of the diode series have the ShowNET mainboard inside to make them even more suitable, even more compatible. And those are really best-selling products because they are so compact, and they are the entry-level products for many, many people from the video industry doing video mapping. We see so many people because they use MadMapper as their primary software, or Touch Designer. And with using one of these softwares, it's directly compatible with a laser. You just connect network and you get going. You don't need any additional licenses, any additional hardware. It's just that way. It's so easy to get going. And that's why the DS1000 specifically is the entry level for many, many people in the video and mapping industry. Then we have the Pure Light series, which is the professional range on the Laserworld side that is especially for the festival market, multimedia projects, really demanding projects already. They're IP65 waterproof, and we have ShowNET inside all of them. You can have an FP4 if you want to, but most of them are sold with ShowNET. And they go for big festivals, like the PL30000 is somewhat standard for festivals. People buy that for festivals. The 70 watt is now getting more popular because the big festivals demand more power. So we have the PL70000 already here. And these are the workhorses for the festival, touring, and rental market because they are very versatile in terms of graphics capability and also lightweight and waterproof and really good beam quality. So these are the ones that we made as universal products as possible without basically having to make a compromise. Then we have the beam bar series, which is a special use case where you have single beams. And the latest series, which is not on the slide because it got lost, is the scan bar, the Laserworld scan bar. These are new. You see them here in the room. I already switched them on before. And these are the Laserworld scan bars. I show them to you after the presentation. And they have scanning inside. It's similar to the Neo S12, but it's more affordable. It's got a bit more lightweight in the profile, a bit more lightweight in the features. But that is also something in that special section. And the FX series with a special kind of diffraction of lasers. So you have these clusters, but in white color and RGB. So these are all special applications. On the RTI side, we have the RTI Neo S12, which is a scan, where each output is equipped with a scanning system. So you can create patterns and shapes. This is what you see in the main hall over the screen. There is a row of 6 of the RTI Neo S12. And these are equipped with 6 ShowNETs inside. So each of them has 6 ShowNET laser mainboards. And these ShowNET laser mainboards have one huge advantage. You can use them in a safe way, even with DMX. And people that use these kind of lasers, they usually control them with DMX because you can have a multitude of lasers, and it's so easy to control multiple outlets with DMX, where it's super difficult with a computer. But the challenge is always safety. So what we have here, we have the ShowNET mainboard. I explained that in another presentation yesterday, but what you can do here is you can select all outputs on your lighting desk at once. You set the ShowNETs to the setup mode, which is a second DMX layer. You can do that with 2 different values on 2 channels. You set it to a setup mode. Then you can reduce the size, position all of the laser beams at once, and then you select 2 other values on these 2 channels, and it stores the settings, the safety settings, into the mainboard. So that makes the whole setup safe because the settings are inside the mainboard and it's not DMX controlling it. The safety is in the main board. So even if you hit full on your console, it cannot get out of that zone. Even if you have a DMX glitch, it cannot get out of that zone because it's integrated into the main board. And that is a crucial feature of the ShowNET mainboard, and it's essential on this product because that makes this product so easy to use on a professional production site for festivals and all this, because the lighting designer can set up safety in the blink of an eye for thousands of lasers at once if he wants to. The RTI Pico series, there will be some news about this. Later in the keynote, you will find a preview for the upcoming products. And we currently have up to 80 watts of power in this. And you will see what's upcoming later in the keynote. The RTI Ango series, I don't have to explain much about this. You will see them outdoors later. They are just extreme, let me say that. It's still, for many years now, the most powerful RGB white light laser system with a movable beam in the world. There is no alternative, and this is still for many years now, and they're still going strong. We have 3 of them outdoors, and it was really bright when we switched them on yesterday. So it's this beast, basically. As I said before, laser animation Solinger plays an important role in our product portfolio nowadays because laser animation carries certain products that complement our product range. Now, with laser animation products, there is another thing. Laser animation is not only, historically also, not only a manufacturer of professional laser systems. They are providers of complete solutions. Laserworld mainly focused on products, and we are the ones manufacturing products and selling products as a product primarily. Whereas laser animation comes from the perspective to providing complete solutions to customers. So the customer has a multimedia project and they want to have lasers installed somewhere there. Laser animation finds ways to get that going with infrastructure, with controls, with data transmission, with the correct product. And this is a different approach. So we still have the products individually available. So if people know which product they need, well, fair enough, we have them. But laser animation does more. We have the opportunity to give you the exact correct consultancy on the product, what you need in conjunction with the controls and the data transmission and reliable infrastructure, because that is something that is essential if it comes to demanding projects. And this is exactly where these products are for demanding projects. Different controls. With Laserworld, this is also part of the product portfolio. We have different controls. Show Editor is a free software that comes with a ShowNET mainboard, so each laser that has a ShowNET mainboard has this software for free. And many people use it out there. I mean, for the ShowNET mainboard, we have far more than 50,000 ShowNET mainboards in the market now. Far more than 50,000, which is a lot. And everyone that has this can use the software for free. And we see a lot of users of this software because it has all the features that you need. It's just probably not that nice look as you would see from a more modern software, but it has all the features. So many people use the software because it's for free and it gets them going with their DJ setup in a nightclub, with the smaller festivals, because it works out of the box. It's got all the content in there. You can get going easily. The more professional software then is the show controller. As I just mentioned in the other presentation, there is a new version upcoming of it, making it even more professional and linking it with the infrastructure of laser animation, because laser animation has a different mainboard in their systems with AVB network infrastructure and AVB connectivity, which allows for more stable networks in demanding environments for big projects. And we now have this connectivity in Show Controller Ultra in the upcoming version, where we actually link the two product worlds together to make it even more compatible and allow for customers to more easily integrate that to multimedia projects. And then we have LaserGraph DSP, which is still for, I don't know for how long. We will learn that tomorrow in the presentation of Michael. He will tell us when he developed the first LaserGraph DSP. But it's for many, many, many years the best output quality you can get for graphics. The best output quality for graphics projections at all with LaserGraph DSP. There is no alternative to that. But it is more challenging to actually implement that. So you need qualified people that can operate it, because it's not as easy as, for example, Show Controller, which is more drag and drop. This is more demanding in terms of controls. But that all depends on what your project, what your customer requires. And this is where laser animation comes to play. That's why they have these specialized softwares, because their customers say, okay, I need a solution. Give me the solution. I don't want to deal with the individual products. I want to deal with solutions. I need a solution from you. And this is where we have the products and the solutions on the laser animation side. Let me give you an overview of that universal multimedia mainboard that we have in the laser systems, that ShowNET mainboard. The ShowNET mainboard is super versatile because it accepts so many different control options. We have the API, the software API, that is available to companies that develop software to actually directly output to our lasers. We don't require additional licenses, we don't require additional fees, and even those companies that want to output to our mainboards, they don't have to pay anything. They can get that access for free, just a little NDA, and then they get the access to the API, and they can output to our laser systems. And that is super interesting, because we see a lot of other companies currently at the moment developing interfaces to our mainboards, so even more people can use their preferred software to output content to our laser systems, to make it even more compatible. And we have the same thing here. We have DMX, we have automatic mode. We also have DMX out, which is interesting because we can use the ShowNET mainboard even as an ArtNet node. So we try to cater for the needs for a mobile DJ, for example, mobile DJ, wedding DJ. What do they need? They have the lasers, like 5 lasers for a laser show, but they also have fog machines with them. So what you can do, you can send ArtNet signal via LAN to the laser and get DMX out of it for your little fog machine below. So we try to cater for the different needs of the different target groups at the same time with having one universal mainboard. And this makes the ShowNET mainboard so powerful, and that is why it is so well accepted in the market with significantly growing demand. Now let's have a look at the control side, because the question is, which customer requires which control? We sometimes have people that say, well, I have DMX, I'm a lighting designer, I have DMX, and I want to do a graphics show with DMX. And you say, well, that is probably a difficult thing, because you can trigger with DMX, but you can't send rich data with DMX. You can't create with DMX. You can only call. You can call what's already there, but you can't create it. So DMX is not the right control for you. You need to have something that allows for rich data, for rich content to be created and to be displayed. You can trigger that with DMX later to start the program, whatever, but you need some software to create that and to make it going. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Also, you probably need to optimize the output. That is where there's limitations with DMX. On the other hand, we have people that have a laser show software and they want to control 200 lasers on stage. I mean, technically, it works. The problem is the infrastructure you need is massive. You need so many different network channels. You need so many different controllers and computers and whatnot. and it takes ages to program. DMX is the much better way to go, because if you have so many lasers, people don't watch each laser individually. They are a unity of lasers. So they just watch the result, and that should be well playing together. So using software with that kind of setup doesn't really make sense. So it's all very important to check what kind of use case do I have and which kind of control is the right one. And no matter what, with a ShowNET mainboard, we have built a solution that caters for every need. No matter what kind of perspective towards the product you have, the control is not the problem anymore, because we don't have to think about that. The customer can sort it by themselves, because they have the option to decide which control they want to go with. I prepared something for you that may be handy if you have to decide what is the right laser system for your needs. This is some sort of checklist that you can walk through, and you can identify what is the best product. What do we have for kind of use? Do we have indoor or outdoor use? What's going on? That's something we should know, because then we can decide what kind of power level we need. What type of laser show do we have? That's what I showed you. Do we have a projection with a surface? Or do we have a beam show? Or do we have atmospheric? Because we need different power levels, we need different scanning, we need different quality of the beam, depending on the use case that we have. Another question, if beam or atmospheric, do we have sufficient fog or haze available? Is there audience scanning or not? If we have sufficient fog or haze available, then usually it's no problem. But if we want to see a beam outdoors and we want to just shoot it to the sky, the 1 watt club series probably is not the right product to do so, because you won't see it, because there is no particles in the air. So if you want to have an application like this, the Ango probably is the better way to go. It's a completely different price range, but if somebody wants to have that effect, well, fair enough. But using the wrong product will not lead to the correct result. If we deal with a projection, what kind of surface do we have? How complex are the graphics? We need to determine how many lasers we need to do the graphics properly. We need to determine if we need a scanner upgrade to get better graphics. Size of the projection plays a role. How big is the projection? Because that also plays a role. How many projectors do we need? How many systems do we need? How can we split up the content? So there is additional challenges. I will show you something later. We have a tool on our website that helps you calculating the number of lasers you need for certain kind of projection scenarios. That also comes with a distance to the lasers to the surface. This is also something you can use that tool for, calculating that and understanding about how many lasers you actually need. What type of control is intended? Of course, do we have DMX ArtNet? Do we have laser show software control? Other software control like video or mapping software? Is there automatic operation intended? What else is the control that is desired? And then, of course, the budget. And the budget, that is a challenge by itself, because there is never enough budget. There is never enough budget, and that's totally normal. But the question is, if you understand what you need, sometimes there is more budget, because then you understand about the challenge that comes with the product and the application that is intended. So that is something that needs to be considered. As I said before in the presentation, we have 3 products in the 10 watt power range. We have the CS12000, we have the PL10000, and we have the Phanon Accurate. And the price span between is between €1,000 and €25,000. Just to understand the challenges with finding the right product. But there is people buying the one and the other product, because they understand about the requirements for each. And especially the more pricey a product is, the more you need to understand on the technical level why you need that product and what the advantages are. If you want to understand a bit more about the technology behind that ShowNET mainboard, you probably want to watch on our website, look on our website and see the different features. And they are in the mainboard of, in the user manual for the mainboard. So you can see that on the website and can walk through the different operation modes, and it explains to you how the different operation modes work. So this is all available on our website. And as I just mentioned, we have a very handy toolbox on our website that helps you calculating the needs, especially the angle, size and distance calculator. You can give either the distance from the laser to the projection surface and the diameter you want to project, and it gives you the angle for the scanning, or you have a certain angle and a certain distance and it calculates how big the projection will be, or you have an angle and you want to have a certain projection size and it gives you the distance you need to put the laser. So this is what you can calculate. It's basic mathematics, but it helps a lot actually visualizing what you need. There is one hint that you should consider, and this is if it comes to graphics projection. If it comes to graphics projection, never calculate the maximum possible scan angle of your laser system as the maximum angle that you would put in the calculator. Maximum use 60% of the maximum possible scan angle. So if you have a 60-degree angle, normally you probably go like 35-degree only for the calculator to not make it as stressful for the scanners to project the graphics. You rather have a scanner upgrade or use multiple devices for the projection if you need to go wider in angle. But this calculator helps you determine that and properly account for your projects and your customers. So thank you very much. It seems the guys in the other room are finished as well. This is the last slide of the presentation. If you have any questions, please ask me. Otherwise, thank you very much for attending, and we continue at 4 in the main hall with the TARM saga.